What's up, everybody? My name is Aaron. I thought I would finally make a video here. I got a lot of things that I be thinking on, man. I study quite a bit, certain things, and some things I just meditate on, man. And but I got something here in Genesis, the very beginning of the Bible. I thought I would make a video just to put it out, man. See how it goes. If it does, then maybe I'll make more, man. Drop some more. Um, if it don't, I'm just gonna continue to grow anyway. Either way, sorry. I hope you do as well. But check it out. All right, Genesis chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 is pretty interesting. And I'm gonna like move through. I ain't gonna talk like read every single verse. You can read along. I'm gonna be reading out of a AJ Holman. I think it's a 57, 56. I'm actually reading from it's a King James. It's a Masonic Bible, but that really doesn't matter. And I'm not a Mason, by the way, either. So, but all right. So, start out right. So God, right? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. All right. So what happened? So God moved upon the spirit, and then God said, right? So the first thing is chapter 3. It says, God said, "Let there be light." There was light. And then God saw that the light was, saw and was, and then it says that God said, "Let there be a firmament," and then God said, "Let the waters under the heaven be in one place." And then it says, and God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass." And then in the evening it said, and God said, "Let the light in the firmament of the heaven." And God made the two lights, and then God set them in firm and to rule over in the evening. And then God said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving things." Okay. And then God created that, and He blessed all that. Okay, that right there, everything that He created, it says God said. He didn't commune with nobody. God said, right? All right. So when all this was created, He created the firmament, the heavens. He created the water, separated the waters from the waters, and then when you get down here, it's pretty interesting. In the fifth day, right? It says that He set the firmament or whatever, and then God said, "Let the waters." See, God didn't create the waters. The waters were here on earth already, or here. God created everything. We know that, but He didn't say, "Let there be water." He separated waters from water. Pretty interesting. But here's the important part of this, though. He says that He said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly every moving creature." So the animals came from the water. They just didn't appear. God didn't speak and they were there. He said, "Let the waters bring forth the life that's already in them." Water has memory. So the waters brought forth the life, right? It's pretty interesting. And then it says and after the kind, and every winged fowl, so it was the fowl. And God said, "Be fruitful, multiply, fill the waters." All right. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And God said, "Let there bring forth every creature after his kind, cattle, creeping thing." God made the beast of the earth after his kind. All right. So now, and that was the fifth day. It says right here that it says right here, we'll read it again. God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle, creeping thing. Let the earth bring forth the life. The birds and the fish, the water brought forth the life. The cattle, the animals on the land, the earth brought them forth." God just didn't work on, you know what I mean? Mold them, however you want to say. Just right here, just speak. You're just speaking it like plain, not even trying to break it down or whatever. Just speaking it plain English, right? All right. So He made the beast, right? And then what happens? Now He says, then God said, "Let us make man." All right, everybody wants to say Elohim and Jesus is with God, and and the three is one and one is three. You believe whatever you want to, but it's like this right here. Read it like a kid would. Read it like you ain't been taught anything in your life. God said, "Let there be this." He did this. Let there be this. Let there be this, and it was all good. After He created everything, He needed one more creation. He congregated with His creation. He didn't congregate with a multitude of gods. He didn't congregate with Jesus Christ in heaven. He congregated with His creation, the cattle, the birds, the water, the firmament, all of it. Let us make man. We were the last creation, right? And then God rested. Now, chapter 2, interesting. Pay attention. It says that, okay, it said now something changes right here, right? So we know this is the name of God. Chapter 2 is interesting. Then it says the seventh day He rested. That's not in chapter 1, it's in chapter 2. But then something breaks right here, right? On the, if you look forward to the seventh verse, right? No, fifth verse. Nope, fourth verse. Do I hear three? Do I hear two? Do I hear one? One, hear two, two? All right, fourth verse. God gets a different title. These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created. This is the fourth verse. In the day that the Lord God made, that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens, right? And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain, right? And the Lord God, it says, and then there went forth the mist of the earth, and he watered the whole face of the ground, right? And check this out. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground. He breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and he put the man in which he had formed. Now this is important right here, right? Go down to, all right, so he put a river in the middle of the garden, right? There's two trees. If you see over here in the first chapter, I probably shouldn't have skipped past it. It says that God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is in the fruit of a tree yielding seed, give it to you as meat. Give it to you shall be for meat. God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. So every tree bearing fruit whose seed is in it, I give that to you for meat. And ain't about cattle, eat these animals. They ain't saying none of that shit. I ain't saying be vegan or nothing, or vegetarian, whatever that word is. I'm not, but I'm just saying it didn't say any of that. He just says that the herb and the tree yielding fruit, that's your meat, is what he says. All right. But check this out, where I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. But then, all right, this is how important elements are, right? This is why we get in the earth as soon as we colonize or take over a land, like, you know, how we do. Well, I don't know about we shit, but how them people be doing. But check it out. The name of the first, and I see the river went into Eden, and it split into four heads. And immediately it starts talking about this right here. And the beryllium, the onyx stone, the what is it? It mentions gold, silver. Where am I at here? See, all right. Bearing four heads. The name of the first is Pison, which compasseth the whole land of Havilah. I ain't going to try to pronounce that. Where there is gold. So immediately we start talking about elements in the second chapter of the whole Bible. All right. So there's gold right here. And then it says, and the gold in the land is good. And then there's bdellium and the onyx stone. The name of the second river is Gihon, and it compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia. This is the Africa region, I imagine, close. And came the third river is Hadekiah, which gave forth of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates. That's the Babylonian area, I imagine, the whole Fertile Crescent and all that, Mesopotamia. And the Lord God took the man and put him in the garden, right? Check it out. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, eat every tree of the garden thou may eat freely. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of thereof, for thou shalt surely die. Okay, God said that every tree bearing fruit has a seed in it is meat. This tree right here was not good to eat. So the seed was not in the tree or the fruit. The fruit that this tree grew did not have the seed in it. That's important because, you know, as soon as Eve eats, what happens? He puts enmity between thy seed and the serpent seed. Now, what the hell a serpent has to do with a human being's seed, I don't know. But the seed, it's about the seed. Whatever the seed is, the fruit, it's all symbolic to something different. But that food that they're eating in that garden did not have the seed in it. That's why it was cursed. Or that's why it was, because God said everything is good to eat. But this tree, no. That's why. And the seed was what? Cursed. Man, pay attention to that. Study on that. I hadn't got my own yet, but I ain't gonna get into that one. But yeah, definitely delve into that. But this is what he says right here. After he put man in the garden, right? What does he say? Don't eat that tree, right? And it says that man should not be alone. I will make him a help meet to him. And out of the ground, the Lord God formed every beast of the field. Hold on, let me go back. What the fuck did I just read? What did I say? That cat's got to be wrong. And the God of the ground, and the Lord God formed every beast of the field, every fowl, and he brought them into Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called the living creature, that was the name thereof. So, Didn't we just read that the cattle were created before man? And now, one chapter later, the animals were created for Adam. Two different creations, two different creation stories, two different humans, two different, I shouldn't say humans, I should say beings. Because the one that was formed from the potter's clay, or however you want to say it, and then how was Eve came about? Because right here it says in chapter 1, it says that, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Man and female created he them. Over here, Eve was created from the bone, from a rib. It says that God put a deep sleep on Adam, almost like he was dead, right? So like the bones that's sitting in a damn casket, you know what I mean? Just sitting there, not deteriorating, not going back to the earth, just fucking being all stingy with our bones and shit. Shit, that's where she came from. She came from one of them. But over here, it's a different creation. I shouldn't say that. It's you do your own research. It's whatever you think. I'm just putting something in the air that you never hear, that I've never heard before, and it's right here in the first 2 freaking chapters, man. Animals were created, and then man was created, and then Adam was created, and then what? Animals were created, and then woman was created for him. And it says also that there was no one to till the ground. The Lord God, not God, but the Lord God needed someone to till the ground. He wanted workers. See, this creation right here in chapter 2, this is a different fucking being. That's what this is. And you can take it how you want to. You can process it how you want to. You ain't got to watch this or listen to it or whatever. But this Adam right here that was created is a different fucking created entity, we'll call him. And the seed is obviously cursed because it don't even say anything about them having sex. And then they talk about their seed and then immediately start talking about the offspring. And the first 2 kids born, what happened? He got killed. The first, we don't know that. We know that that's not really the first person born. But the story is the metaphor is the first child born killed by his brother, right? That's the whole thing about family. That's also the thing about the seed is cursed. You see what I'm saying? So, man, got to read this thing like a kid would. And who is the Lord God? And I'm going to tell you something right here. You can check this whole Bible. I have not seen it anywhere else. Chapter 2, chapter 3, the title of God is the little e, little t, little h, little e, capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D, capital G, little o, little d. That's the name given to the Lord God that created, that needed tillers for the ground to get into the ground. He needed workers. All right. But God created over here, God created the man that he didn't have a name over here. Unless we're just getting another rendition of who Adam was. That's what most people want to say, that this was just Adam. This is just breaking the story of Adam down. Okay, so the animals were created in a whole different manner. Everything is totally different manner. You know what I mean? So the first chapter of Genesis tells you all you need to know about the creation. It's all been, how you say, fucked with, right? You know what I mean? And see, we got this whole thing we got here in this mind right here, right? We get this thing called language, right? These little letters and these words, these symbols. And what they do is they act like computer programming language, right? They tell our hardware, because I am hardware, you are hardware. I have this computer system. I have these neurons that just fire billions of them like electrical signals and just boom. But this right here tells me what to do, but the language tells me what to see, tells me what colors are, tells me how to do it, tells me who I am, what this is, what that is, what this is. The language, by the words that we speak, words and the language became our reality. The language that we speak, Adam created, named the names or whatever, and that's what we're given, we're passed on. But we go to school for all these years so we can get that, what we're born with, to pull it out of us. So we can be molded and formed with the dust, you know what I mean, basically, and till the ground, you know what I'm saying? Because whatever that was in chapter 1, we got to get that shit the fuck up out of this human right here, which just means colored man, sea monster, you know what I mean? Hue, almost like hue, like put together kindly, but either way, man, yeah, so you check out your own thing. I didn't really get into chapter 3. The seed is a whole story by itself. It's like, well, you know what I mean? What just think about it, the seed. Because every fruit, every tree that bears fruit, we just read it. All you gotta do is read the first chapter or second chapter, third chapter. It literally takes like 10 minutes. But then you got to read it almost like you got to retrain your mind how to read and process words. And I ain't got it down either. But I know this right here. We've been had, as Malik El-Haj Shabazz would say, we've been had. Been took. You know what I mean? Man done lied to us is what they've done. You know what I mean? They done, not necessarily, yeah, they tricked us. That's what they do. But it's up to each person to be accountable, to pull themselves up out of that shit. Because I believe that every single person gets hit with the thoughts of this and that. And whether we choose to do with it is our choice to do with it. But I believe that there are serious, absolute, serious repercussions for it in the end. You know what I mean? Everybody's waiting to go to heaven to get their blessing. Fuck that. I want mine while I'm here on this earth. You know what I mean? I don't want that whole mystery. Wait till you die, build up your kingdom up there. Fuck that. I want to eat good right here, and I want to leave my kids good, my kids' good. I mean, you do what you want to. You stack your riches for something that's not even guaranteed. You know what I mean? But you do how you want to. I'm just dropping this on you to get you something in your mind about the creation of man and this whole story about Adam and then this whole tree over here and this fruit and the knowledge of good and evil and the serpent and what that truly is. Just look at it from a whole different angle. Think about tilling the ground and how we're workers and how we're a different creation than what this first chapter was. Obviously, we have to be, obviously, right? It's yeah, I mean, but the Lord God, the title of the Lord God is different. You never see that anywhere else. You'll see the Lord our God, the Lord thy God, the Lord this God, the Lord that whatever God, but not the Lord God. This is the only chapters that I have seen in this Bible. And I studied it for years and off and on, you know what I mean? I studied it for years, read the whole thing front to back when I was in the penitentiary when I was younger. Didn't get anything like that, but I studied it, put work time in on it. But even more, I meditate on it. And God lives within. They don't care what your religion is. And I don't buy this whole what they tell us anymore. I say what they tell us. Fuck that. Everybody's got their own choice. You know what I mean? I'm not getting into my opinions on shit. All I want to say is that have a mind for yourself. Read for yourself. Like KRS said, man, live by the palm and fist. That's a good song to listen to. Live by the definitions that others give. Live by the history that others lived. Nah, you better rewrite, you better read history and really think like, does that even make sense? But most people don't give a shit, so they'll pass on through this like this ain't nothing. But it really is something, you know what I mean? You just got to put a little bit of CARE in your HEART and, make it happen. But I thought I would make that real quick. There's a whole lot more I want to say in this right here, man. I'm trying to think before I close it out, if there was one thing that I wanted to drop on it. But yeah, man. Yeah, it's a trip though, man. First 3 chapters tells us what to eat. It tells us how to eat, basically. It tells us where we came from. It tells us, what order we were made in. They don't have to worry about coming from animals, coming from this, coming from that, coming from this. It says that the earth brought forth the cattle, the land animals. The waters brought forth the life that was in them, and the birds and the fowl and the fish of the sea. And then it says that he created us. He made us in his image, in our image, in their image. So we were created for everything else, not the opposite. It wasn't everything like we're so fucking great. Look how good we are, right? Nah, get the fuck out of here. We do have a higher consciousness. As I heard a doctor say the other day, we were consciousness first, and we took these vehicles here as vehicles or avatars to get through life. You know what I mean? To experience life through this right here. But we were consciousness first. You know what I mean? But be careful about consciousness if you are not truly aware in life, because if you are not an aware person and aware of different entities and powers and principalities, well then your consciousness, like Pius the Eighth maybe said, the Pope Pius from back, he said that I think it was the author of man's consciousness. That's fucking crazy, right? I think he said the author, or he was the creator of man's conscious mind. Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious? This is how these people talk. And then after you get all that, start thinking about that Catholic Church and the Reformation and how 1500s and how 1492 Columbus sailed the ocean blue. And then we got the Reformation, then we got the King James, and then we got 1608 Jamestown in Virginia. We got 1611 King James, the first book for the new land. We got then they try to kill the motherfucker before that. You know what I mean? We got the 1601 or '02. We got the gunpowder treason, try to blow his ass up. And then you had all this right here. So all this was lined up, all the Reformation and all the Crusades and the whole Inquisition and the Jesuit order. All that was for this new land and this new order, a new world order, basically. You know, Bush said it better than anybody, I think. You know what I mean? And I don't say that in a good way. I ain't talking about, Junior. I'm talking about, that motherfucker. That fucking old, that motherfucker. Yeah, George Dub. That motherfucker, there's something different, right? But either way, man, it's have a mind for yourself. Read the first 3 chapters, see what you get out of them. Hope you like the video. I know it really ain't much of nothing. I really just wanted to plant a seed and see, hopefully it waters for some people, because I'm telling you, there's something there. There's actually a lot there. There's actually everything we need to know in life is there, and we here question all this, and we worry about all this, and worry about all these religion, all this religious shit. Man, ain't nothing but finance. It ain't nothing but control. That's all it is. That's all it is. This world is dominated by one entity with all this religion and shit. Rome never died, cat. Rome became a church, and then it became nations. All roads lead to Rome. Rome took over all of Europe. Europe took over, colonized the whole goddamn world. So, were they European? Sure. Were they mixed with something else? Yeah. So, and then eventually what? All nations were Catholic fucking ran. If not, they kill your ass like James. But they don't even know if that shit really happened. I think that's just a story to kind of, set up this new world for the Reformation and this whole new Christianity, King James. Not about the Catholic Church. This is a new order. Same shit. It's like it's right here. The Son of God. Get your O's and U's right. The Son of God, the S-O-N or the S-U-N. Let's look up. Came every night to bring light into the world. That's it. But also remember that God spoke, God said that Jesus was what? The Word. Jesus is the blueprint. I won't say Jesus. I will say Christ is the blueprint. Christ is a blueprint. How can we fathom somebody being perfect without sin? Can you actually, you gonna actually take that as your doctrine and go to and lay down your life for that, when that's not something that you can even fathom truly with our being, with our minds? Are you gonna take that as your faith? I understand, I get it. I did for years. And I still do, in a sense. But I use my logic. I use my my cortex along with this limbic shit I got going on here. And the thing about it is that you're supposed to use your mind. You're supposed to question, because that's where God is. Because if you don't come with no static, then you ain't God's stock. Because if you want to be of God, you better be prepared to be like this old knucklehead right here. But most of y'all people ain't ready for that. I'm going to tell you some real shit. Most of y'all ain't ready for that. If you are, then buckle up, motherfucker. Lace up your boots. Like Biggie said, because they about to shoot. But you better be ready, because if not, they're going to chew your ass up, spit you out. Like chew the back and chew the back and chew the back, spit. They spit your ass out. And you won't stand a chance, because you got to have the love in your heart, and you got to want and be and own that you are, and that you, and it's not no phony, or it's no bullshit, that it's just about truly knowing who your connection is with God, as you know him, her, it, however, even if it's, not God, it's whatever makes you greater, whatever makes you not be a slave to this, you know what I mean? To be anything that can like break open new pathways to learn or think for ourselves, not the way that we've been told. That's what the box is, What's the cat? Meow, C-A-T-D-O-G, from fucking a year old, man. You got fucking kids 6 months old, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, packing that shit in, man. Beating that motherfucker in. 25 years old, just getting out of school. You tell me another species that takes near that fucking long to grow, to become a fucking adult, to go earn your own. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. Man, I don't know. I hope this touches somebody, man. That's the only reason I did it. Because I don't make videos. This is the first one I've done. I could tell you anything, but it really is. I'm just sitting here in my fucking old bedroom because I stay alone. That's one thing about being aware. you'll find out that you ain't gonna have too many friends. That's for sure. But that's all right, because I got a best friend like fucking, like my boy M and what's that old cat name? Yellow Wolf. Yeah, best friend. That's who I got. I got one of them. He almighty, all powerful. That's right. Well, from one person to another, from one being to another, from one man to another man or woman, um, I'll bid you greetings, and I hope that I hope something will take seed in what I spoke, because I am speaking my opinions and reading and stuff. It's not like we don't know anything really. What do we know other than our experiences? And that's where I find who God is to me. The book doesn't tell me. The church doesn't tell me. A person doesn't tell me. I've come at 48 years old to realize that God is nothing more, or not just like making it sound, it's just my experiences. When something happened and time stopped, or when something intervened and I know it was, that's how I know who God is. And when you try to talk about it, forget about it. Words get in the way. And usually nobody is ever there with you. It's always a personal experience. That's just the way it is. It's the way it works. Because you can be crazy if you go to talk about, you know what I'm saying? That's just how it works. But what happens on the day of the sun, the first day of the week, which was when we worship the Son of God, right? Sunday, we worship the Son of God on Sunday, right? The first day of the week. And there's a lot of fucking energy going on. Let me tell you, you think about all these millions of people in all these churches across not just America, but South America. Catholic Church even does it different. They got the same teaching across the whole world. You know what I mean? Whatever the teaching is, they do it across the whole world at that time. But you think about it, the law of thermodynamics says that energy cannot be created, nor can it be, expelled, but it has to transfer either as heat or onto the next, right? So all these people on one accord in these churches, all that energy just boom, 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 like a fucking Tesla coil. You know what I mean? Think about that shit. But we don't understand energy like that, though. So you can't store it, you can't do that. Who knows what the fuck can happen? I know they got a steeple on top of it, and that motherfucker, what's that damn steeple look like? Look like a damn communication tower, does it not? Think about it. You had all that energy getting round up, and then you go, bing, I'm done. Peace.